Hey everybody, Donkey Storm here, and this week I've been testing out all the healer tier sets on the Dragonflight beta as I continue to try and figure out what healing spec I want to main when this expansion drops on November 28th. In this video we're going to break down and rank each one based on how much it contributes to your character's power and whether or not it adds anything new or interesting to the spec's gameplay, and hopefully this can help you whether you're trying to figure out a new main or just see how your favorite spec set is performing. Keep in mind this is still beta and all this stuff is subject to change. With that in mind, let's get started. Let's start with Preservation Evoker. Here's the set. 2-set bonus, Empower spells increase Reversion's chance to critically heal by 25% for 6 seconds. 4-set bonus, Reversion healing has a chance to cause your next living flame to cast instantly and deal 20% increased damage or healing, stacking up to 2 times. So I did a video a few weeks ago where I had some optimism around this set, but that optimism was misplaced. This set is honestly flat out pretty bad, despite a few attempts to improve it on Blizzard's part. While the crit increase to Reversion does cause your Reversions to stay up for quite a while, the proc rate on the 4 set just seems really low, even when you have 3 Reversions running at a time. The instant living flames were kind of nice when I got them, but it happened so rarely that it wasn't really that impactful on my play at all. I was hoping that being really on top of your Reversions would reward you with a lot of procs and therefore a lot of Essence Burst procs, but that's just not how it worked out. The snowball effect only happened a couple times in each dungeon I tested. If they could bump this proc rate up a bit, it might at least be a decent set, but as it stands now, this is a really underwhelming set that does very little for the Preservation Evoker, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Here's the Holy Priest set. 2-set bonus, Casting Prayer Mending reduces the cast time of your next heal or Prayer of Healing by 1 second and increases their Holy Word cooldown reduction effect by 2 seconds. 4-set, when Holy Word Serenity or Holy Word Sanctify finish their cooldown, you gain 10% crit for 8 seconds. The 2-set bonus incentivizes you to throw out Prayer Mending on cooldown, and the payoff of a super fast heal actually does feel worth it. The 4-set of getting 15% crit when Serenity comes off cooldown doesn't seem like much until you factor in Apotheosis, where you actually get a ton of value out of the bonus. Apotheosis tends to be more of a dungeon-oriented talent, however, so we'll see if the synergy actually ends up being strong enough to consider in a raid setting, but I'm guessing probably not. I like the way this set interacts with the Holy playstyle though. It adds some wrinkles to the gameplay without being intrusive, and I don't think it's going to be a massive power increase either, so I'm going to put this set in the B tier. So here's the recently reworked as of today Shaman set bonus. The 2-set, while Healing Stream Totem or Cloudburst Totem is active, your chance to critically strike is increased by 10%, and the new 4-set bonus, your critical heals have a 215% effectiveness instead of the usual 200. The set was literally reworked today, as the original version was horrendously bad. The 2-piece remains the same, but at least now the 4th set synergizes with it. Essentially, you're going to do more frequent and bigger crit heals during your Cloudburst and Healing Stream Totem windows. While it's certainly a step in the right direction compared to the previous version that just gave you a haste buff when those totems expired, and the fact that the 4th set is just a nice all-the-time buff, it still doesn't feel like it's going to be an extremely impactful bonus, and it likely won't be enough as constituted right now to warrant any major talent changes or rotational changes. You're just going to get a nice little all-the-time crit buff, and some added bonus to that during your healing totems. Definitely not a bad thing, and the recent buff pulls it out of the C tier gutter, so I'm going to place it in B. I have a feeling more changes are to come for this one, so stay tuned. Alright, on to Disc Priest. The 2-set bonus, Casting Power Word Shield, increases the effectiveness of your next direct damage or healing spell by 10%. The 4-set bonus, just recently nerfed, Penance increases the strength of your next Power Word Shield by 60% of its damage or 18% of its healing. So starting with the 2-set bonus, I see this being a lot more impactful in Mythic Plus than in Raid. The cooldown of Power Word Shield is only 6 seconds, and in 5-mans you're going to be tossing it out a lot and getting a lot of benefit from it, whether that be from DPS or healing spells following the cast. The 4-set was recently nerfed by about 40%, and I guess Blizzard felt like the shields getting tossed out following Penance were absorbing too much damage. The interaction between shielding and healing done by other healers has always been kind of an awkward one, see Spirit Shell. The 40% nerf is going to sting quite a bit here, and while I think it might have been in the A tier before, we're going to drop it down to the front of the B tier as it stands now. Alright, let's talk about Resto Druid. So the 2-set bonus, Rejuvenation, Life Bloom, Wild Growth, Efflorescence, and Tranquility. Chance to critically heal is increased by 10%, and the 4-set bonus, Efflorescence, Critical Heals, increase the healing of your next Wild Growth by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. Life Bloom, Critical Heals, reduce the cooldown of Nature's Swiftness by 2 seconds. You might not like it, but this is what peak tier set performance looks like. The 2-set gives you a flat 10% increase to most of your important healing spells with no strings attached, and the 4-set bonus with Efflorescence crits increasing your Wild Growth by up to 50% is pretty insane, honestly. Seriously, on stream we equipped this set and just stood there in Stormwind with Efflo under 3 people's feet, and the Wild Growth stacked back up to 50% increased effectiveness in time for each cooldown, pretty much. It goes without saying that Wild Growth is a huge spell in both Raid and Mythic Plus, and this tier set is going to heavily reward anyone who's disciplined with keeping their Efflo down, which is definitely something Resto Druid should already be doing anyway because of their mastery. It's really a tough call on whether or not this set belonged in the A tier or the S tier, but since there is another set we're going to go over in a minute that deserves its own tier, we're going to stick it at the front of A plus tier. Alright, on to the recently changed Holy Paladin set. 2-set bonus, Holy Shock increases the critical strike chance of your spells by 4% for 10 seconds, and the 4-set bonus, Holy Light, Flash of Light, Light of Dawn, and Bestow Faith healing is increased by 6%, and their critical effects increase the damage or healing of your next Holy Shock by 20%. Man, Blizzard is all about that crit on the 2-set for every healing spec, aren't they? The cool part about this set though is that the 2 and 4-piece bonus kind of create a loop with each other, where your Holy Shocks increase the crit chance of your spells, and the crit chance from your spells increase the Holy Shock effectiveness. It is a little bit bewildering that War to Glory was left off the 4-set bonus list, but this still comes in as about a 10% net increase in healing for Holy Paladins, which is nothing to complain about. In my opinion, this set is kind of on the stronger side of average, so we're going to put it in the B tier right behind Disc Priest. Okay, Mistweaver Monk. The 2-set bonus, healing from your enveloping mist, Essence Font, and Vivify is increased by 15% on targets with your Renewing Mist, and 4-set bonus, Essence Font and Vivify healing are increased by 10%, and your Renewing Mists on targets healed by Essence Font are extended by 1 second for each heal. Dust off your black belts, boys and girls, because I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be doing some healing karate when Dragonflight comes out. Not only is Monk arguably the funnest and best designed healer in the beta at the moment, but their tier set absolutely slaps. 15% healing effectiveness on targets with Renewing Mist, which should be essentially everyone, and also a flat 10% increase to your Vivify, Renewing Mist extended on each target by a second for each heal. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty shocked that this set made it through the recent round of nerfs that just went out. And as good as the Druid set is, this set is still a cut above, and it's going to live by itself in the S tier. So that's my take on tier sets so far. I know the goal of Blizzard was to keep the tier sets simple and not make them too intrusive to how the specs play, but honestly, I kind of like when a tier set adds a new little wrinkle to how a spec plays to squeeze a little extra effectiveness out of it. And overall, I found most of these tier sets to be a little bit underwhelming, as they mostly just reward the player for doing what they're supposed to do in their rotation. So please remember that all this stuff is subject to change, as tier sets are still being worked on, and we need to take it with a grain of salt. But as always, I'm interested to know what you all think about these tier sets and whether or not you've had a chance to give them a run in beta. So of course, leave your thoughts in the comments section. And if you're looking for more Dragonflight healer content, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up the video, or check out my stream Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 9 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for watching, and happy healing.